You know, a resume is really something that helps get the attention of that hiring manager, right? So you have to stand out somewhere. So having a strong resume will help you get an interview. And that's what is very important about having a resume. So, so it's a formal document that displays an individual's professional background and your relevant skills. It has your qualifications, it has your skills and abilities, it has your professional background, your educational background. It's going to tell them why and who you are, right? So in any structure for a resume, you want to have your header, which is your personal information with your name, your address, your contact phone number, and email and professional links. So you can put your LinkedIn profile up there. That's what the professional links are. You know, you want your email, most importantly, your email. Have a professional looking email. Your address, your name, your contact phone number, because they will call you or they'll send you an email for a follow-up, for an interview. So that's your header, and then you have your objective summary. Do you all remember when you all were writing your summary, your objective for your resume? It told a little bit about you, right? It said who you are and your background a little bit, and why you want and what you're looking for. So that is going to help you get the hiring manager to bring you aboard for an interview. Your education, which is obvious, right? You're going to put how much schooling you have. If you already have your degree, you're going to put it on there. You're going to update it anytime you get a new degree. If you continue your education, you're going to continue to update it. Along with your work experience. I've had many people come in and say, hey, well, you know, I worked 30 years ago at Circle K, and should I put it on? I go, well, you know, it's 30 years ago for 2 years. And you worked at a transportation company for 25 years. So you overlapped it, but put your most relevant experience to that job. So if you're applying for, like this person who was in transportation, if they're applying for a bank teller job, somewhere in the bank, what can they utilize from their past experience into that position? Right? So they're going to make it stronger of when they write down when they're creating the resume, of their work experience to the job description that they're applying to. So the bank teller job is asking for money handling, customer service. So when you're writing down your job experience, you're going to put strong points to that. You can put strong points to that. You have customer service skills, answering the telephone, formulating emails, right? So being courteous and utilizing those type of skills on your resume helps, and putting it in your job description for your work experience. Now you may include leadership. Some people do not, because you don't have that much of a background if you're just getting started, but you will be able to put it in there. And of course your skills. 2 to 3 sentences long, you can put them up, you can put into detail. And what does help is if you don't realize what kind of skills you should put on, what does help is trying to get ideas of what skills you do have. Going on ChatGPT or going on Google, what are the top 10 skills or 15 skills needed for this position? And you can read them, and you can say, whoa, that is me. You know, I have that. I have that skill. Going on social media, or not social media, but Google or ChatGPT to get ideas into creating a positive and good, strong resume helps. Getting those ideas, and it's not saying that you're going to copy and paste everything. You're going to get ideas and formulate those ideas from there. And say, okay, I have this skill, I have customer service skills, I have phone etiquette skills, I have time management skills. You're able to pull from those resources to understand that you can be able to put those on your resume. Now for a good resume, you need to have a good summary. You can always go back into ChatGPT and formulate the way it says it. You're going to put a little bit about yourself, you're going to put about your experience. Remember, this is right over your header, right? Is your objective summary, telling them about you. your experience, your specialty, your soft skills, your achievements, your goals, your career goals, and any other buzzwords related to the job position that you're applying to. So get the job description that you're applying to. So if it's a stenography or transportation or customs or patrol, what those strong skills that you need for that job, you want to start plugging them in there into your objective, because then those strong words will be picked up by the hiring manager and they'll be able to see it, which is very important. When I was an HR manager and my applications came in, the first people I looked at is the people with experience, to make sure who is who and who is what, and I would be able to separate them, and the people that didn't have any experience to the people that had experience. So here's a similar process where they're going to look through every resume they have, and when you have key words on there, it'll help. It'll help pick them up. It'll help get the attention of the person hiring for that position. So that's an example of the objective summary, right? So if you're applying for an administrative position that incorporates years of experience, specialty, soft skills, and achievements, professional goals, and buzzwords. So this is an example that we created to put on there. This is an objective summary that we created with buzzwords and the position. So it says, an experienced administrative assistant with 5 years of supporting executives and streamlining office operations. Skilled in scheduling, communication, and problem solving with a proven ability to improve efficiency. Recognized for optimizing document management, reducing retrieval time by 30%, and seeking to leverage strong organizational skills to enhance productivity in a dynamic work environment. So if you had that, if you're applying for an administrative position, or if you were a hiring manager and you read that, how would you think of that applicant? Do you think they would be qualified for the position? Would you want to bring them in for an interview? It sounds good, right? So you want something strong. You don't want anything too long, but something strong to the point where they need to bring you in to interview. And that's what's going to help with your objective summary. And when you use buzzwords, include them in the sections. In the profile, in the job description, skills section. So when you're in there, when they're reading it, they see those buzzwords. Now, when you formulate your structure of your resume, there's your font size, your proof fonts, and your limits, right? So everything is in different sizes. You're going to use a 1, 2, 3 method. The name, your name and your information on top is going to be bold, and usually it's going to be 15 to 16 size font. The sections where your 12 to 14, that will be bold. Your job titles, you're going to be looking at anywhere 10, 11, and also, 12 to 14, but also italicized so you can stand out, so you can make sure that they're in there. And the body, keep it a little smaller so it's not too wordy. Because once the body takes up a lot of space, a lot of that information takes a lot of space in there, so you don't want your resume to go on and on. You don't want it longer than 2 pages. And that's what's going to help. Now, don't use all these crazy fonts, right? So you can use Times New Roman, Arial, Cambria, Garamond, Helvetica, I don't know how to pronounce that one, and Verdana. Now remember, keep your resume short, not longer than 2 pages. Unless you're applying for like a federal government job. If you apply for a federal government job, we are told, and what they really want is something in greater detail. Something that really speaks to you. So no matter what government job, they do want more details into that resume. And it helps to start now instead of wait till the job opening comes up. Because if you really want to apply to those type of jobs, you need to start building your resume. Because it's going to take some time, especially for a government job. Because if they really wanted it to detail, you can put all your experience and all your information on there. Start now. So always have a resume ready for anything. Because, and remember, you're gonna have that resume forever, and you can always continue to update it. Now, that 1, 2, 3 rule goes like this. So the largest font is your name, and all your title, all your information there. So it's usually the 15 to 16 point font. Your name should stand out as the most prominent text on your resume, because that is you, right? It talks about you. Example, John Doe's, and that's pretty much the way it's going to read. Now, the second largest font is the headings, 12 to 14 font. The headings, like your experience, education, your skills, should slightly larger than the body to create distinction. So you want to make sure that they're separated so they don't flow together. So they want to make sure that your headings of each experience or your education, your skills, is slightly larger than the body or that text that you're going to be writing, so they can know the difference of when one starts and the other one begins. And of course, your body font, 10 to 11. So it's slightly smaller, just a tad smaller, but it does stand out because it is talking about you. This is where you're going to start writing about yourself and your skills, your education, and your work experience. And that's where you're going to be able to put it in there. Very important. And this is what helps us creating one already, is having people to review it. You do it 3 times. You do your first review. You make sure that you already look for misspellings, grammatical errors. You make sure it reads correctly. You can use ChatGPT to help you say things in a better way than we might put it first. Clean it up. Customize it to yourself. Make sure you always do that. Never, ever put anything that you do not want. Never put anything that is not correct or a lie. Because during an interview, they may bring it up. And they're going to say, well, what happened here? They're going to ask you a question from your resume, and they're going to say, wait, well, on your resume, you said you had this experience. Oh, what did you say? And if they catch you in a lie, you're pretty much not going to get the job. So make sure you put everything correct. And it's happened before. It's happened to me when I've interviewed people at Lowe's, when people were misrepresenting themselves, who they really were. And if it comes out, it's dishonesty, and I can't bring that person in. And it hurts. And it'll hurt you. So make sure you review it first. Make sure you check it. Then second, review it by someone else. Give it to a friend. Give it to a family member. Read it for me. Does it sound good? Does it sound okay? How does it read? Would you change anything? Because that's going to give you that backup. We all always are better assured when we have somebody else reviewing the things for us. Because if not, what happens? Sometimes we miss something. Sometimes we look at something and say, oh, it looks good, it reads good. But a friend might catch it. Your parents might catch it. Somebody else that you lend it to read it, to make sure it's okay, they may catch it. And say, hey, change this. Hey, there's a misspelling there. Don't always rely on the computer to catch that misspelling. Review it yourself. Have somebody else review it. So have somebody else go through it to make sure that it is correct. And then have a final look over. Once your friend gives it back and you make those changes, go through it one more time. See, doing all these steps takes time. So if you're trying to apply for a job really quick and creating a resume from one day to the next, is this going to take one day? You can do it in one day, but would it be good? Would it be quality? Would it be something you want to submit it? So make sure you do that. Make sure you look at those things and take these steps, because it's going to help. It's going to help you have a great resume. Now, avoid these resume mistakes. Incorrect contact information. Update your phone number. Your email. Again, please do not have horrible emails on there. Create a professional looking email. Don't have any words in there in your email that are offensive. Because I've seen And do you think I hired that person that had that? No, it's not worth my time. If they're not able to create something like that, how are they going to be? That unprofessional email address, outdated objective statements. Your objective statement will change depending on the job that you're applying to. So it's going to match to the job description of where you're applying to. So if you're applying for an administrative position, it's going to be strongly worded towards that. If you're applying for a teller position at a bank, it's going to be strongly worded towards that job description. Or a forklift driver, it's going to be strongly worded as a forklift driver. So it's going to be customized to your job that you're applying to. You're going to be applying to Customs and Border Protection as Border Patrol. You can get a lot of the responsibilities and make that strong, make your objective stronger. So they know that you have the skill set to do the job and that you've done it. The spelling and grammatical errors. What I've seen, what we've seen is not capitalizing a lot of your first words, like Laredo, Texas, addresses, first names, last names. You need to make sure that you do capitalize the words that need to be capitalized. It has to look professional. You have to make sure that grammatically, punctually, everything is correct. So make sure you do look that over. Lack of specific action verbs in there as well. Too much or too little information. Sometimes it's too much information and it's all repetitive. Keep it short and to the point. Keep it to the position that you're applying to and the strong skill set you have and what you've done in your work history, and make it strong that way. Highlighting duties instead of accomplishments. Too much personal information. Do not put, other than your name and address, phone number, email, do not put, we recommend for you not to put your picture on there. Do not put any personal information on there. This is your professional working resume. So when you apply to an employer, they don't care if you like long walks in the beach, if you like baseball or you play golf or do this or that. It doesn't matter. Your personal likes and dislikes, this to the side. This is your professional email where it should only say professional. It should not have anything in there that has anything of your personal information. You don't want to have to occur where some employers are biased to that. And please do not put any political affiliations on there. I've had people say, well, I've done this or this, and I was just speaking to someone yesterday that was asking me about an interview they may have at a court. And I said, well, they were worried that they were going to ask them about political affiliation. I said, no, they're not. They're not obligated to speak of anything who you voted for or anything like that. Do not put any of that on there as well, because you don't want to run a risk of discrimination based on that. It's against the law, but it could happen. So do not put any personal information on there. Not matching your resume with your actual job application. So you want to make sure what you're applying to, that job application, that job description, you're getting those strong words from there, what they're asking for, and making your resume pretty much a mirror image of that job description of where you're applying to. Because it's going to say that you have the skill set for that. I'm going to tell you right now is that when you create your resume, focus on the positive things of what you've done. Focus on the experience that you have. So let's say you're working now, but let's say you hadn't worked before. You never had any experience in the job industry. Take it back to school when there was teamwork involved. When you were part of an organization at school, maybe at the church. Maybe you all did fundraisers. Maybe you all did cash handling, right, for a fundraiser. Maybe you were organizing to have a fundraiser and your duty was to get all the products that you were all going to sell. So I would add any skill that is persistent or to that job description. So if you're going to go into an office job and it's customer service, so your soft skills are going to be anything that you can take from one job to the next. Customer service, phone etiquette, email etiquette. Those are considered your soft skills. Your hard skills is specific to that job. So if you're specific to that job and if you're applying for a forklift driver, your skill set is to manage how to arrange pallets, move things around in the forklift. And it helps. Because they're going to know that you already have that skill set to apply to that job. So you're going to see it from one to the other. But do whatever you can to get a good resume ready. Because hiring managers are going to be looking at that. They're going to look at your application. They're going to look at your resume. Make sure they meet. Make sure they're the same. If they find any inaccuracies, anything that is not correct, they may see that, hey, you know what? They're not putting correct information on the application or on the resume. So they may not call you. So make sure everything matches from your application to your resume.